It is Kieran Trippier. It is delicious! Glorious! Glorious!
Walker in there too. Luke Shaw! Harry Kane wants it played into him. He chooses Grealish instead. It's Grealish. It's Kane! Nothing like this has happened for a long time. Here's the overhead kick from Kane. Palmer finds Watkins. Watkins turns! Watkins scores!
Hello, and welcome back to the Gate 102 podcast. I hope I find you well. Thank you for tuning in. Always is appreciated. Now, in my previous episode, I talked about England's opening game win of the European Championships qualifiers, and it ended in a 5-0 victory against the Czech Republic. And that episode is still available wherever you get your podcasts. Today, I'll be following on from that victory at Wembley as England were back on the road again, this time against Montenegro. And this was their second game of the qualification campaign. Now, before this game, England had played Montenegro away twice, and both of them ended up in draws. The first one was a 2-2 draw, and the second one was a 1-1 draw. So this was a real opportunity for England to change history and win away in Montenegro for the first time ever. So the team, Jordan Pickford in goal, a back four of Kyle Walker, Michael Keane, Harry Maguire and Danny Rose. A midfield three, it was a first start for Declan Rice. He was sitting as a deeper midfielder with Ross Barkley and Dele Alli playing slightly further ahead. And then a front three of Raheem Sterling on the right. He scored a hat-trick in his last game. Callum Hudson-Odoi on the left and Harry Kane as the striker. Now, last episode, I mentioned how Hudson-Odoi became the youngest player to make his debut in a competitive game. Now, in this game, he made his first start, and at 18 years old and 138 days, he became the second youngest player to start a competitive game for England ever, after Wayne Rooney against Turkey in April 2003. Again, I think that's changed now, but at the time, he became the second youngest player to start a competitive game. So it was quite a brilliant week for Hudson-Odoi, getting his first call up and breaking 2 milestones. Now, moving on to the events of the game, and it was a start that surprised many people, including myself. Montenegro, believe it or not, took the lead. Were 1-0 up. And I mentioned before how England had never won away against the opposition. I was just thinking, surely not again. It was a poor start, and 17 minutes in as well. You're just thinking, it's just not the start you want. But in all fairness, it was a great goal by Vezovic. I think that's how you say it. Precise, curling finish. So there's no stopping it really, but yeah, worrying start for the Three Lions. But as England often did during Southgate's time as manager, they responded really well after going a goal behind. If anything, Montenegro scoring early on actually gave England a bit of a kick up the backside and sort of got them going a bit of encouragement. So much so, we got the equalising goal, bang on the half-hour mark. Michael Keane was the goal scorer, heading home for a free kick. It was a brilliant cross from Barkley. He couldn't have put it at a better angle, right on Keane's head, and he scored in the far corner to get the equalising goal. And this is his first international goal at senior level. And it was a nice moment for him, as he was becoming a bit of a regular at this point for England. And yeah, this removed any doubt in my mind that England were going to lose, because I was a bit worried after we conceded, just thinking, I hope history doesn't repeat itself. But yeah, Keane scored, and 8 minutes later, England scored again and were in the lead. Ross Barkley it was who got on the score sheet, and he obviously set up the first as well. So the first 2 goals both sort of came from Barkley, really. Yeah, England were 2-1 up, and this was sort of like a cross shot from Hudson-Odoi, and Barkley sort of stuck his foot out and got the final touch to make it 2-1. And it was great that England were in front. And this was actually Barkley's first goal for England since Lithuania away back in October 2015. So 3.5 years since he scored his last goal. And England went into half-time, leading 2-1. And it was almost like a game of two halves in a half. It was a shaky start, like I've said, but as the first half went on, he started to play better, gradually got some momentum. One thing I do feel I need to touch on, unfortunately, there was some racist abuse towards Danny Rose during that first half. And I know people say it shouldn't be happening in the 21st century, but let's be honest, it shouldn't be happening in any century, past, present, or in the future. But I think when I talk about Southgate and his strengths, this is where he really stands out as being an elite leader. After the game, he spoke against it, and not every manager would do that. He could have just let the situation unfold or forget about it and just move on and just pretend it never happened. But no, Gareth was strong. He spoke against the abuse, called him out for it, and said how he's going to try and take action to support Danny, but also try and educate others. I just think that's what made him such a special manager for England. I must also clarify the racist abuse coming from the Montenegro fans, not the England fans. Just want to clear that up. But moving on to the football side of things in the second half, England scored their third goal just before the hour mark. Ross Barkley was the scorer once again, his second of the game, and it fell very nicely to him. After a bit of a scramble in the box, he just fell to him perfectly, and buried it home. And it just gave England that breathing room and enhanced their lead. Such a special night for Barkley. I think some fans were a bit frustrated and confused as to why he was getting picked. You had people like Mason Mount, James Maddison, who were doing well in the Premier League. And I think some people were like, why is he picking Barkley over these players, these younger players? But Ross was brilliant and really showed his capabilities, not just in this game, but in previous games as well. 71st minute of the game, Harry Kane extended England's lead, making it 4-1. It's pretty easy goal, to be honest. Sterling getting in behind and squaring it across to Kane, who just tapped it in. And at this point, the game's done, really. 4-1 with 20 minutes to go. There was no way Montenegro were going to get back in the game at this point. 10 minutes later, England scored their fifth and final goal. Raheem Sterling it was, who scored his sixth international goal in 4 games. He was in a real purple patch at the time. It was his 25th goal of the season for both club and country. So nice to see Sterling continuing his good form, and a great finish as well, sliding it past the goalkeeper through the legs even. And also what I like about his goal is when Sterling scored, he went straight to the Montenegro fans and basically put his fingers in his ears. I think this was done to sort of shush the racist abuse that was headed towards his teammate early on in the game, which I thought was a nice, bold statement, really. But Sterling made it 5-1, and it sort of capped off what was a stellar second half, really. I think scored 10 goals across 2 games against Montenegro and the Czech Republic. I know these are 2 teams that you would have backed England to beat at the time, but still, to score 10 goals past them. These games can be hard to score that many because they can sit deep, it can be hard to break down, but this meant England scored 5 or more goals in consecutive matches for the first time since November 1984. So it was another milestone hit, another breakthrough. Such a special international camp overall. But it was 2 really encouraging performances across both games. But especially this one, given it was away from home in a tough environment. I mentioned before how it was the first start for both Rice and Hudson-Odoi. I think it signals the amount of trust that Southgate had in both their talent, but also in their mentality to play in like I say, a tough environment away from home, and both came through it really well, which was great to see. Yeah, such a brilliant result for England, and what a start it was to their qualification campaign. In my next episode, it will be back to Nations League action for England. Obviously, they won their group out of Spain and Croatia back in 2018. And it was now time for the final stages. So I'll be talking about England's semi-final against the Netherlands, which was held in Portugal. And I'll do a deep dive into that game. And this was actually Gareth's 34th game in charge, which means come next episode, I'll be a third of the way there, because 102 divided by 3 is 34. So, yeah, just a bit of maths to finish the episode off with. Also, I do want to say, go back to modern England at this time of the recording this episode. I know this podcast isn't about modern England, but I do want to touch on one thing. England are playing Senegal on Tuesday, the 10th. I'm sure many of you are aware, but it is England's Shirt Day, which has been organised by Russell Osborne from the Three Lions podcast. And he's also teamed up with the Bobby Moore Fund. So you can donate to that. Just type in the Bobby Moore Fund. And also you can find it on his Twitter website. Or just if you want to donate, you can't find it, just ask me and I'll send you a link or whatever. But yeah, Tuesday 10th of June, England's Shirt Day. So basically just wear your England shirt wherever you are. And yeah, just if you can, try and donate some money, all for a great cause, supporting people who are affected by bowel cancer. So yeah, just thought I'll give that an announcement. 10th of June, England Shirt Day. And yeah, any questions, please ask me or Russell, who's organised it. And it's been a real success so far. Donated way over what was targeted. So yeah, great to see. But yeah, I'll be back next week talking about the Netherlands game. And that just leaves me to say thank you for listening to today's episode. It is always appreciated. And until next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.